Bharatiya Janata Party's all guns blazing against Rahul Gandhi, and now there's been an entitled Brat jibe. An entitled Brat jibe at Rahul Gandhi. Now, Rahul Gandhi basically snapped at some media persons over the parliament disruption question. Rahul Gandhi told reporter, and I quote here, "Are you working for the government?" The Bharatiya Janata Party then immediately have taken on Rahul Gandhi, saying Rahul Gandhi disrupts the parliament, then shoots the messenger. So listen in what exactly Rahul Gandhi said and how has the BJP jumped into it.
राहुल जी, सरकार का कहना है कि हाउस ऑर्डर में नहीं आता है, तो इस वजह से डिस्कशन नहीं हो रही है। हम हर चीज पे चर्चा करने के लिए।
आप सरकार के लिए काम करते हैं क्या?
नहीं, सरकार।
आप सरकार के लिए काम करते हैं?
सवाल पूछ रहा हूं।
अरे मैं जवाब दे रहा हूं आपके सरकार आपका। क्या आप सरकार के लिए काम करते हैं?
नहीं,
हाउस, अरे मैंने जवाब देने दो। आप सरकार के लिए काम करते हैं क्या? हाउस को ऑर्डर में रखने का किसकी जिम्मेदारी होती है? ऑपोजिशन की नहीं होती है, सरकार की होती है।
All right, I'm now joined by the Congress Member of Parliament, in fact, one of the MPs who's suspended, Nasir Hussain, joins us now. Sir, the question that I just heard was a very valid question as to how will this disruption come to an end, and the allegation that is coming from the government. To snap back and say, are you working for the government, is not exactly a very fair response by Rahul Gandhi. What happened? Because now the BJP is saying this is just entitlement.
See what Rahul Gandhi ji meant was that you people don't ask questions to govern. You don't ask the government as to why the house is not running. You don't ask the government why the house is not ordered. You don't ask the government why is the government not engaging opposition parties during the session. You don't ask the government as to why don't the government accommodate the views, opinions and the agenda that opposition wants to bring in for discussion in the House. This is exactly the reason between the standoff between the government and the opposition from the last session to this session.
Okay, if Nasir Hussain, that is your question, and I think it's a fair question, stay on with me. I'm joined by Bharatiya Janata Party's Amit Malviya. I'll ask that question right away to him, and let's hear his answer. Amit Malviya, because you're from the Bharatiya Janata Party, why is the government not taking into consideration what the opposition is saying? Why is the House disrupted? Because eventually it's very strange. The Rahul Gandhi of the Congress Party is attacking the journalist asking that question. So I ask you here, why are you then not taking the opposition into confidence, Amit Malviya?
Well, you know, we, just like the rest of the country, would love to see Rahul Gandhi speak. Because every time he speaks, he gives us something to smile about. He makes the day lively and chirpy, and it's a lot of material for memes that comes out of his speeches. So we would love Rahul Gandhi to speak in Parliament, and we probably want him to speak almost every day if we can, because we need some levity in life. But the problem is that the opposition refuses to come on a table and discuss matters. For instance, today the government called all the opposition parties. Congress party did not turn up. So please ask Rahul Gandhi and everybody who's defending this entitled Brat that why would they not come for a discussion? Only if they come for a discussion can something be taken to the parliament and debated.
Nasir Hussain, do you want to respond to that? Do you want to respond that government is calling you but you're not coming on board?
Look at his arrogance and the kind of words he's using. This is the kind of language the government and their chelas are using on television channels. This is how they treat the opposition leaders and the opposition parties. This is what the kind of language they use on television channels. Forget about that. Whom did the government call? The government called for a discussion only 4 political parties, 4 opposition parties. We made it very clear that all the opposition parties are united. All the opposition parties were asking for a discussion in the last entire session. That is why the entire hangama happened, that the government didn't accommodate the agenda, didn't accommodate the notices which we had given in the last session.
But do you think rather than the protest, yes, speaking in the parliament, we will be able to put your views across better, sir?
Just allow me.
Yes, sir.
See, even now, all the opposition parties have been protesting in the House. They have been asking for adjournment on different notices. Even now, all the opposition parties are sitting near the Dharna site near Gandhi statue in the parliament. So all opposition parties need to be invited for discussion. For every silly thing you call, you invite all the opposition parties. Why are you playing this divide and rule policy of the British?
Is this a divide and rule policy, Amit Malviya? As Nasir Hussain is saying that they are protesting, they are sitting at the Gandhi statue. Why doesn't the government go ahead and call them? That's their allegation. You want to respond to that?
First of all, the opposition is not united. The TMC calls for a meeting, the Congress doesn't go. The Congress calls for a meeting, TMC doesn't go. So clearly they are not sure who is the leader amongst the opposition parties at the moment, and they are fighting amongst themselves. Secondly, as far as the matter of suspension of 12 MPs is concerned, they belong to 4 parties. All those 4 parties were called. What is this thing about calling the entire opposition when the others in the opposition are not unruly and misbehaved in the parliament? The Congress, the TMC, the Shiv Sena are the ones who are on the dock on that, and they were called for discussion. The Congress
Amit,
did not turn
I request
up.
you and Nasir Hussain to please stay on with me, because I want both of you to listen to what Rahul Gandhi has said, because I think there was no point in attacking the reporter so directly, because for what he was just asking a question. Listening to what Rahul Gandhi actually responded to a journalist's questions.
राहुल जी, सरकार का कहना है कि हाउस ऑर्डर में नहीं आता है, तो इस वजह से डिस्कशन नहीं हो रही है। हम हर चीज पे चर्चा करने के लिए।
आप सरकार के लिए काम करते हैं क्या?
नहीं, सरकार।
आप सरकार के लिए काम करते हैं?
सवाल पूछ रहा हूं।
अरे मैं जवाब दे रहा हूं आपके सरकार आपका। क्या आप सरकार के लिए काम करते हैं?
नहीं,
हाउस, अरे मेरे जवाब देने दो। आप सरकार के लिए काम करते हैं क्या? हाउस को ऑर्डर में रखने का किसकी जिम्मेदारी होती है? ऑपोजिशन की नहीं होती है, सरकार की होती है।
All right, Nasir Hussain, do you think that there could have been a better response to the question rather than a direct attack?
Forget it. Again, you are discussing on the same thing. The problem with you people is you don't want to ask questions to the government.
Sir, I had a BJP spokesperson. I asked exactly what you wanted, sir. Exactly.
Hold on. Just hold on. From 2014 till now, there is a completely different style of functioning in the channels. There is a completely different way.
I absolutely object to that, Mr. Hussain. I had a BJP spokesperson. I asked exactly the same question. I asked exactly the same question of why the government is not calling the opposition netas.
Not the opposition. You should have been asking.
But I asked him twice. I will still ask him. Amit Malviya is still around.
This is not the first issue.
Amit Malviya, entitled brat you've used. Again, see, the charge is on us. But the question is the government also backtracking on the protests and is not taking into consideration?
See, Rahul Gandhi attacked the reporter who asked him that question. Nasir Hussain is attacking you for asking the same question. It has become a trend in the Congress party to attack the media. Okay. It is something that is in their DNA. From emergency to till date, anybody who does not agree with them, they attack them. I'm sorry you have to go through it. But as far as your question is concerned, I can tell you the government wants to have a discussion. The government called the 4 parties, of which the 12 MPs belong to, who have been suspended for disrupting and behaving in a manner not befitting a member of parliament in the House. The fact is the House cannot work if it is not in order.
So eventually the government and the opposition will have to come together because the parliament has to function. There are some important bills that are on track. And remember, here on India Today, we ask questions to the BJP and to the opposition like you just saw. So at this point, do not attack the journalist for simply asking a question of why the parliament is still disrupted. The question put to both the ruling party and the opposition.